And again, another packed house. Great party, great experience being outside of your region outside. Now you're in the UK, experiencing different foods and everything. It's just a different crowd. It was just, man, when I tell you those people appreciate you out there and they appreciate the music that you play, yeah, that was right there. That was the point of my young career. Oh, you know, that one night at Paris, and then again in Belgium, Brussels. And one party I'll never forget. I'll never forget that day. That was the best. That was the best.
Today is the
There you
Wednesday,
go.
2nd, 2024. Who are we speaking with?
Ace House Nation.
Tell us about how you got that name.
The name came about with my friend Hector, Hector House Nation. When I first started DJing at the age of 14, I had no DJ name, so he came up with the name Crazy Ace. Because back then it was nothing but hip hop. We were very young. We were doing hip hop, scratching, and all that stuff. And I did that for maybe 5 years until I decided just to call myself Ace, you know. And then when he passed away back in 1990, 2006, I think it was, or 2000, I even forget what the year he passed away. My bad. It was 96 or 2006. I'm not sure. I'm getting confused about that year when he passed away. But anyway, after he had passed away, I decided to call myself Ace House Nation in his honor. So that's how the name came about, Ace House Nation.
What is House Nation?
What was that?
What was House Nation?
House Nation was a party that Hector had put together with two of our friends, Mike and Danny. They were thinking about, because there were other parties going on at that time, and we decided to do our own party, and they wanted to be called House Nation Parties. And they spoke on getting together because I had a sound system at that time, and I combined it with Hector's, and they decided to have me as the main DJ for these parties back in 19, I would say 85. We started back in 85 here in the Lower East Side in various areas. We would rent, a hall here, this, that, the other, until many years later they landed the dance studio on 622 Broadway, and that was the parties, the parties. Besides other parties that were out there, the house station parties were the talk of the town. They started at 12 midnight, and they wouldn't end till like maybe 11 o'clock the next morning. And we had food, we had coffee, donuts, you name it. It was incredible. Incredible parties, man. Everybody, everybody was there. A lot of DJs, even Louis Vega played there, and many others. I can't even think of names right now, but I know Mateo Matos was there. They played Eddie Matos and them. As a matter of fact, I did one night there because at that time, when it was doing the House Nation parties in that area, I was working night shift at my new job, and I couldn't make those parties. But I end up being there on one night with Hector, doing one of the nights with Eddie Matos or Mateos and Matos, and that was a great party. That was, never forget it.
Why did it end?
It ended because the lease was over, or the agreement that he had with the dance studio owner. It ended because of that. So we found other locations, but it was never the same. It was never the same. There was a lot of changes going around, and uh, not too many people are going out anymore. But that only in that one spot, like I said, on that one spot, I remember clearly, it was always packed, always packed. And the good thing about Hector, what he would do, he would hold special events, like special nights where he'll allow you to come in to do. Cause he'll do food drives for anything that like a storm would happen, like things that are happening now in the world. And you got people who need food, canned goods and stuff like that. So he'll have you say, bring 2 cans or 3 cans of ravioli or whatever, and you come in absolutely free. So he used to do that a lot. That's the good thing about Hector. He's always looking out for everybody else, man, besides himself. He'll put everybody out there first before him. I miss him a whole lot, man. Me and him grew up together as kids. So
And
he's
that was
like a
my next
brother.
question. That was my next question. How did you meet him?
We met here via my brother Chino because I gotta laugh because them two wanted to become DJs, back in like I would say 77, 78. I was just a kid. And Hector and my brother would walk around the neighborhood with a boombox radio, one of those boomboxes with a big speaker, I think it was a JVC. And they will repeat the record, Push Push in the Bush, over and over and over on the cassette tape. And one night I was just watching TV in my living room here in my mom's place, and they're walking in with equipment. And I was like, oh, no way. And this I helped to set it up in this actual room was the DJ room for both of them. And they started DJing together. They started doing parties. They started doing house parties for people. And then they would do a wedding here and there. And each time my brother would go to school and I wouldn't make it to school for whatever reasons, I would I would actually break into the room and play with the equipment because that was something that I always wanted. As a little kid, I used to watch a friend of mine's right here in the backyard play music, he used to DJ, and his name was DJ Hot Ice. And he will bring us some really cool equipment, and he would play nothing but disco and the break beats. And I just fell in love with it, man. I said, I want to do that. I really, really want to do that. So that, like I said, the day my brother came in with equipment, I was happy. Sometimes I would not even go to school, and I would come in here and break into the room and play with equipment, and then shut it down before he gets home. Until one night, actually one day, I got busted because I dropped his record and it broke on the floor. Super Nature. Never forget that day. Boy, did I get a whipping. I mean, I got a whip. I love my brother. It's just something that I wanted. Something that I wanted. This is my passion right here. These babies right behind me.
How did you, what drew you to house music?
Okay, so house music, like well, we first started hearing house music when we were hanging out with Louis Vega at Hot Rock. He brought in some of that Chicago sound, and we heard it for the first time. The
Tell
first
people
time I
what, just
think,
pause. Tell people what heartthrob is.
okay, Hot Rock, it was a club. It was called first before Hot Rock, it was called Funhouse with Jelly Bean Benitez. And then it actually closed down. I'm not sure for how long, but it closed down for renovations. And then they came back with Louis Vega, and they called it Hot Drops. And Hot Drop was a club located on 26th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue, I believe it was, on Chelsea. And it was like they called it back in the day bubblegum music for kids, all freestyle music. So they call it bubblegum music. As a teenager, that's what was hung out there. Besides Heartthrobs, the next best club, which was a roller skating rink, was Roxy's. And then they closed that down. There's some real good renovation, a whole new system, and they reopened it up, calling it 1018s. And that was located on 18th Street and 10th Avenue. That's why they call it 1018s. That's where the name came, 1018s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a lot of great clubs I had back in the days, man. A lot of great clubs, man. A lot. I miss those days so much. I miss them so much.
So let's go back to house music. How did you discover and fall in love with house music?
Well, like I said, the first time I heard house music was Marshall Jefferson. The house music anthem song they call it. Gotta have house music, and man, that was just a different sound. And we're like, wow, what is this? And we went out to Vinyl Mania and we bought it when it first came out. And then after that, they just kept coming more records kept coming out, and Louis would bring them out, and sometimes Louis would have them on a reel, and he will play them, and we're like, wow, what is that? When is that coming out? We couldn't wait for it to come out back in the day. So I fell in love with house music. Like I said, I first heard Louis play it. And then when I started going to the garage and listening to Larry started playing that because before I was at the garage before house music came out. As a kid, I was able to get in there. I knew people. And then when Larry started playing it, that just boom, that thing blew up, man. Everybody started playing house music. Everybody started playing house music, you know. So I thank Chicago for the house sound. Thank you, Chicago.
Tell us about your first time to the garage. Who brought you there?
Who brought me there? Hector House Nation. Because he knew oh, what's his name? Joey Lanos. He knew Joey Lanos and David Pepino back in those days. And so he brought me there for the first time. He got me in there, and I was amazed with this with the with the whole spectrum, the way it was built. The sound system was amazing. The sound was unbelievable, clear, banging sound system. One of the best sound systems ever in New York City. As far as power, that boom. You know, you also had a rooftop, really nice rooftop, and people to hang out there. It had a separate room for a theater. It has its own theater, a lounge area where they serve a lot of snacks and fruits, and then in the morning they'll serve you coffee with some donuts. Then you had also another room which I never really been into. It was a lounge area. Just people just go there and hang out and talk and have just whatever smoke or whatever they want to do. And then you had one room, the fitting room, I mean, not the fitting room, the coat room. When you first walk in, there's a coat room to your left. And then right behind that, they were selling T-shirts and all this other stuff. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I miss the garage. That's another place I miss.
Is there a memorable night where a DJ or a performer turned it out at the garage that you were like, man, I remember that night. I'll never forget that night.
That night with when Larry broke Liquid Liquid. Yeah, that's a night I never forget that night. That when that song came on and I heard that bass line come in, boom, 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 boom. I never heard the song before, but when he played it, man, the crowd went nuts, went crazy. I was like, what in the world is that? And they're telling me that's a record called Liquor Liquor. It's not going to be out for a couple of months. That's on a reel to reel. And from the distance, because the when you're in the dance floor, you had to look up to see Larry. Larry's on top. It's not like the way things are now that the DJ's on the stage and you can view the DJ. Back in those days, the DJ, you never saw the DJ. It was hitting in a corner somewhere. And so you can look up, you can see Larry spinning, and then to his right, you see the reel to reel spinning. And that was Liquid Liquid. And I find out that who did it and when it was going to come out. So again, as soon as the record came out, we hit Vinyl Mania. Vinyl Mania, the record store, which was located on Carmine Street. We'll hit those guys up. Be like, hey, you got this record, Liquid Liquid? Is it coming out yet? Nah, you're not going to see that for a couple of months. And that was one of my memorable nights, man. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to see anybody perform live at the garage, and there was a lot of live events. Like, I mean, everybody you could think of, there was there. Grace Jones was one of them. She was one of the big ones. She kept repeating, a lot of visits to the garage. And I missed all those. I couldn't go to those parties, unfortunately.
What is the Loft?
The Loft, right across the street from me, baby. The Loft was on Prince Street, which I never knew about it. I never heard about the Loft until he moved here to Third Street back in 1982, 83, when he moved in. And when I was doing the gutting of the studio in front here, I just went inside curious, to know what's going on. And I was talking to David Mancuso. He's introduced himself. My name is David Mancuso. I do loft parties. And I'm like, what is a loft party? So he broke it down. He explained to me. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I'm looking forward to this. I'm a DJ myself. I play music. It's, oh, yeah, really? Yeah, yeah. I play a little bit of this, that, the other. Because my genre of music is open. I'm open wide to every genre of music. And we were talking and we hit it off pretty quick, really nice. And then when you finally opened up for the first time, I went inside for the first time. And I can tell you this, like I say to everyone, the Paradise Garage had the booming system as far as banging, but clarity, no one. I mean, I don't think anyone could beat the Loft, man. The Mark Levinson system he had in there, with the clips of Scalas and the comb. I mean, he had, man, that system was so precise and clean and clear. You can hear every instrument. When I went there, I was just amazed. I stood on the middle of the dance floor. All I kept doing is just looking around and listening to the music. And especially when he played Sun Palace, Root Movements, Sun Palace, that was a system, and that was a lot of great memories. I hung out with David Mancuso pretty much every day, because, like I said, the studio where I'm at right now, right across the street was the Loft. So I would go across the street to him, and we talk music, we talk about systems. I've learned so much from that man. I've learned a lot, man, and a lot of his music I've never heard, and everything he played I loved. So to this day, I have a whole section back here that I dedicated to him. So it's nothing but loft music. That's what I call it, loft music.
And
Yeah.
this was Avenue C.
Between Avenue C and Avenue B. Yeah.
What's something people would be surprised to learn about David Mancuso?
People will be surprised. Um, well, I was surprised with his selection of music and seeing that. What surprised me about him that will surprise people, and back then, I would guess, I don't know about now because everybody knows who he is and knows his legacy, is that he never mixed a record, man. He never mixed records. He never used a mixer. He used preamps, two separate preamps with two separate turntables. I've never seen nothing like that. When he had that kind of setup, I was like, how is this guy's gonna mix these two records? No headphones. He didn't need any of that stuff. His thing was just to play one song, let it end, and play the next one. Because he says that if you would like his theory was why interrupt songs? Why put one song lapping over the other and interrupting that song when the person should enjoy the entire song in its entirety, the way it's recorded, beginning to the end. When he told me that theory, I said, you know what? He's absolutely right. I say he's right. You should enjoy the entire song. But is it so bad to mix? Nah, not really. Nah, it's not a bad thing to mix, if you do it right. But I understand his theory, not mixing, and that's a great thing that I learned from him. And that's a lot of things that people can learn from that. Because in reality, to be a good DJ, you don't have to blend the songs. You just have to have a good selection, a really good selection, and you can play one song at a time, and everybody will dance to that song. And I explain that to a lot of people as far as I tell them, do you remember when your parents had a one turntable and they had multiple records and stack them up on the turntable, and that record would play, and then they play the second song and the next song, and then the next record drops. That wasn't a DJ there, right? I said no. They'll be like, no, no DJ, but everybody had a good time, right? Everybody was dancing. And they're like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I said, well, that's the same theory that David Makusa had. One song at a time, everybody dancing. At certain times, he'll let, let's say, maybe 5 seconds go by with no music and everybody's clapping. I mean, everybody's enjoying the music and appreciating what he's doing. And then the next song comes on. That's something that, people would, I mean, people can learn from that. I mean, I did, that's for sure. I learned a lot from that. Like I said, I've learned a lot from that man. And I appreciate, every minute he gave me and talked with me. Very
What
knowledgeable guy.
what made the Loft unique compared to other clubs at that time?
The uniqueness of the club, it felt like you were home. It wasn't a club, it was his apartment. That's what he called it. He said, this is like he said, this is not a club. This is my home. And he would point upstairs and say, that's my bedroom right upstairs. This is my living room. Because when you walked into the loft, you had furniture, your chairs, furniture here, that, the other. And it felt like a house. That's what they call it, the house parties. And it felt like a home. It didn't feel like a club at all, to be honest. It was more like a home. Again, he had their punch so you can drink. He had other drinks. He had coffee, donuts in the morning. So it felt like he was just doing a house party. And you had to be a member. One thing, you had to be a member to walk into the loft. You just couldn't walk in, so you had to be a member of the loft. And what else was that? And you wasn't paying to get in. You were giving him a donation. That's what it was. It was a donation to enter the party. So your contributions went into, let's say, cleaning, extra, whatever he needed for the loft, which mostly went to food and coffee and all that stuff for the crowd themselves, you know. But it was a donation thing. Really nice, man. Different from everybody else. I tell you that. It's very unique, very different. The loft. I miss it. Miss it a lot. Thinking about, the days that I went there. It's too bad to knock the building down. Too bad.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I thought they would keep it there, because it used to be a theater back in 1920s. In the 1920s, it used to be a theater. So I thought they would keep it, but no, no. Building's knocked down. And I'm fortunately I'm not unfortunate, but I'm fortunate that I was able to grab a brick from the building. I grabbed the brick. Actually, I have it put away
Oh,
because I
nice.
want to get the name Dave Mancuso and the Lost Love Save the Day carved into it. Then I want to put it inside a frame, put it away.
I love that.
Yeah, great memories.
Tell us about Danceteria.
Danceteria, wow. Back in the days, 21st Street between 6th and 7th Avenue, or 5th and 6th. Danceteria was a punk rock club. It was something like I said, I was open to all music. I wasn't just open to house music or club music or hip hop. I was open to everything. So anytime we wanted to go, me and Hector and the fellas, we want to go to Danceteria to listen to punk rock, we'll go to Danceteria and we'll go there and visit every floor. They have 5 different floors, 5 different DJs, and everybody playing different varieties of different music. Danceteria was a really, 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 really nice club to visit, man. And it's unfortunate that it was an incident that happened there with the elevator. It actually opened, somebody fell in and died. So the club had to shut down. They had to shut down. I mean, I'm not sure if it had to do just with the person's death or the family suing and all this other stuff. But wow, what a great club, man. Yeah, you just brought me back to you brought me back right now to 19 years old. Great club. I miss it. I miss these clubs, man. Let me tell you. New York City was the place to be back in the 80s, 70s through the 80s. Yeah, the nightlife was something.
Tell
It's
us
big.
about the Ritz.
The Ritz, which is 11th Street. The Ritz it was called. You know what I found out that it was called the Ritz on Wednesday nights because it was a breakdance contest with Rocksteady Crew back then, dynamic breakdancers and many other crews from back then. So they will call it Wednesday nights the Ritz, and it will be a breakdance contest. And that's what I was told. But I thought it was just called the Ritz always, you know. But it's actually called Webster Hall. And again, Webster Hall is another club that has multiple floors. There's another club that a lot of wild things were going on there. Another nice club, really nice club. The main floor, I love the main floor with the sound system. All the other floors are okay, but the system on the main floor was the main system. That's what it did. That's where they held the battles, the breakdance battles. It's another beautiful club. Long time ago. Another one that I truly miss.
Describe the Palladium.
Oh man, Palladium, man. What a what a monster club, man. That was located on 14th Street between 4th and 3rd Avenue. And I used to always go there on a Wednesday night. And I thinking about the guy's name, the DJ. I can't, man. I've been trying to think about this guy's name, but I completely forgot his name. Um, wow, what an exciting club. Again, beautiful sound system, beautiful dance floor, multiple layers where you can go hang out and has multiple rooms. It was really, really cool. The Palladium. That's a place I miss dearly. The Palladium. And but if I think I've only been there maybe 4 times. The last time I went there with Larry Levan, and we went into the backside on the 13th Street side. There's a backside to go in for VIP, and Larry Levan took me in there, and we had a good time that night. That was the last night I was there. That was really nice, really really nice. Yeah,
Tell us about Gotham's West.
Gotham's West. Wow, that's in the West Side, man. That was again that DJ. This guy was awesome. Yeah, and it's funny because I know that him and my friend Elvin Reyes, they know each other very well. And this DJ, I looked up to this guy because this man, I'm telling you, when he blend records, he was on point. And that's when I started DJing, mixing. Because like I said, remember I told you at the beginning I was doing scratching and that stuff. So I started blending because I heard him play. I was like, wow, magnificent, like on point with the mixing. I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be like that. I want to be that good or even better. So I just can't remember his name, but Gotham West was a small little club. It wasn't that big, but man, it was packed every Thursday night. Every Thursday night, that place was packed, and it was just a great party. This is why I first heard Gino Socio. One of his songs was called "I Remember" by Gino Socio. I remember that day clearly when I first heard that record. He broke that record in there, and I again go to Vinyl Mania to pick up a copy of it. That I heard Heaven 17 in there for the first time. There's a lot of records that I heard that he broke in there. That was one of my favorite spots to be in every Thursday. Gotham's West. And then just around the corner from that, just literally around the corner from that, there's the club called the Ones, which when I went there, I mean with Hector and all the other fellas, Danny and them and fella, it wasn't to me, I don't know, it wasn't that crowded, but it was just nice, it was a nice little club and it had a decent sound system in there. Um, but it wasn't that packed either. It was kind of it's like a lounge area, it was like a lounge. It was pretty cool. No wood floors. It was more like ceramic tiles, I remember, but it was another place to be in the ones. But the Gotham West was it, man. Until they moved to 14th Street and they changed the name, they called that place. I remember clearly it was called Fresh 14 on 14th Street. And just a couple of blocks from there, we had the Underground on Union Square, another club. I mean, we can be here all day talking about clubs. There's clubs everywhere in New York City. Like I said, the New York City nightlife was so special in the '80s, man. And unfortunately, somebody went and shut all that down. You know what I mean?
Who shut it down? What happened?
Uh, the mayor did. Rudy Giuliani. He didn't want no nightclubs anymore. He didn't want that here in New York City. He wanted to make things. He wanted to change things. So, what he would do, each time your cabaret license were expired, you would not get a new one. So, without a cabaret license, you can't open up a club. That's what happened. Little by little, they just kept chopping down. Boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, there's no clubs in New York City. At least in Manhattan, there isn't. But in today's world, all the clubs are located in Brooklyn, most of them. And I'm talking about real nice spots in Brooklyn. So Brooklyn is a nightlife to go to nowadays. Go to Brooklyn if you want to dance, you know, in today's world.
What makes a good DJ?
What makes a good DJ? To me, a good DJ is a person who could select records, have a great selection, you know. It's like I said before, it's good if you can mix them, blend them in nicely. But the thing to me is selection is key. Selection is key. You have to go out there and tell a story. When you play your music, you want to tell a story to the crowd. You want to take them for a journey. You know, you want to bring them up, kind of bring them back down so they can, relax and then pump them up again. And the good thing about that is that you feed off that energy. If you're doing it right, if you give them what you know they're gonna want and hear, and they enter it and they're singing, then you know you're doing something right, right? So that energy will bounce right back to you. It's like an energy thing from the DJ to the dance floor. It's an energy going back and forth, you know. But selection is key, and that's what makes a good DJ be a good DJ. In my opinion, is selection. Selection is key. The mixing part, if you don't want to mix, you don't have to. And like I said before, it's been proven you don't have to mix if you had a good selection because David Mancuso did it. Great selection, and everybody was dancing. I mean, everybody. And nobody's standing around. Everyone's dancing. Yeah.
Which DJs inspire you?
Wow. My first inspiration of a DJ was the guy, like I said before, in my backyard here. He was called DJ Hot Ice. His real name is Jose. He inspired me. I was just maybe 9 years old when he was playing in the backyard. And I tell you, I swear to God, I'll tell you, when I saw him play music, I said it. I just said it. That's what I want to do. I like what he's doing because I love music. My parents would always play music in this house. My mom, my stepdad, there was always around music. I was always around music. And when he started playing music in the backyard, and he's playing a lot of disco music back then, I just loved everything he played. And I just loved the just to see that, man. It was something that I wanted. Like I said, to my brother and Hector when I bought equipment, and I practiced on my own. No one taught me how to DJ. No one taught me anything. I just learned. I just picked it up because it's a passion. It's hard to describe this passion that I have for music. You know, it's such a great feeling, and I had to do it. Yeah, I had to do it. Like I said, this right here behind me, this is my life right here. This is all my life. Although I have all that digital stuff too, but my life and my passion is right behind me, the vinyl.
How
Yeah.
does DJing make you feel?
It makes you feel so good, man. Especially when you're doing it right and you have the crowd moving. It's an energy that is hard to describe. It's such a great feeling. It's a happy feeling, to know that you're having people out there dancing and having such a great time. It makes me feel really good. It makes me feel very joyful inside. So that makes me want to release more out there and keep giving you more and keep giving you more. To me, it's a happy feeling, hands down. Very happy, joyful feeling.
What happened to the DJ residency?
To the DJ residency, as far for me or all the DJs?
Or just in general, like remember, I was just thinking about, in the 90s and 2000s, you had like, Louis Vega had Central Fly, Tony
Yeah.
Humphries had Cielo, David Morales had Ozone Layer, and they would play an 8 hour set. Now it's like there are 20 people on the roster and everybody gets 35 seconds. Like, what happened to the DJ residency, and is it important in building one's DJ career today?
Yeah, it's very important to build someone's DJ career, you know. As far as DJ residency, we don't have those anymore, unfortunately. Um, I don't know why. I really don't know why. But I think maybe because the DJ thing became very easy to be done now, thanks to the technology that's out here right now. Thanks to technology where you can use a laptop and use Serato or Tractor and various other programs to DJ and make it a lot easier and more simpler for you to get down. You understand what I'm saying? Um, for instance, there's a lot of people that know how to play with that equipment, with that software. There are others that just don't know. They're just getting started. So what to do it, I gotta tell it, I gotta say it, and it's the truth. A lot of people like to cheat. They put the sequence button, they push the whatever button here, and the computer does everything for you. This is me being honest. People don't like it, it's too bad, but this is the truth. Um, People use, either Tractor Serato or whatever other program there's out there right now. And they're not really mixing, the computer's doing everything for you. So if the computer's doing everything for you and you out there banging it out with nice tracks, and you're doing perfect mixing, perfect blending, whatever. And I can't say you're a DJ. I'm sorry, but I can't say you're a DJ. I can say you're a programmer. You program the music and the computer does everything for you. But as far as DJ is an art. For you to become a DJ is an art form. It's something you yourself have to do. Whether you do it here, okay, or you do it on my other side of the console is my digital side, which is the CDJs. You can do it there as well. But just as long as you're using one thing, and I call that the pitch control. If you're using the pitch control, then I know that that's you yourself, DJing, you blending. Whether you lose it a little bit or you lose it a lot, at least you're the one who's actually putting it together. So therefore, you become the DJ. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not doing that, man. And they're making tens of thousands of dollars. And I've been doing this since I was 14. I mean, I am in my bedroom still doing my thing, you know. you know. But I get chances out there to do a guest spot here and there, or open up to somebody, and I of course I still do my outdoor events every year, and that's pretty well, you know.
Tell us about your outdoor events.
My outdoor events, yeah, I do one outdoor event. I've been doing it's called the disco party. I did my fifth annual this year, but unfortunately, not that I selected the date, but it was given to me. This year I had September the 8th, and unfortunately for me, the other party was going on, the 30th annual Jamboree. And the Jamboree is a huge party that Little Ray throws every year at Prospect Park. And that place was jam-packed. And my party was very, very minimum people, unfortunately. But I couldn't change the date. So I'm looking forward for next year. And let's see, let's hope that could work for me. But the years prior to that, man, my party was huge. We used to do them right here in the Lower East Side in Easter Park. We did the disco parties, and it was always packed, packed. And everybody had a disco uniform on, some kind of disco thing. I had my afro, my staff, pretty cool. Platform shoes, all that good stuff. You know,
Let's talk about reunion parties, the Loft, Paradise Garage, etc. What do these legacies mean today?
today, well, they mean a world a lot, man. And to me, they mean a lot. When these guys, when Joy Lanos and David Pepino do the garage party, it brings me back to that day because they play a lot of music that I haven't heard in a while. I mean, I have it too myself, but when I hear it elsewhere, and I'm hearing it in the sound system, and I'm seeing a lot of faces I haven't seen in such a long time. It just takes me there. It takes me to the Larry Levan parties. And I'm so happy for those two individuals to keep that party alive, man. I appreciate that, man. The last party they had at a club in Brooklyn, I went there and it's like, wow, amazing, amazing. To this day, I have always wished that Larry was alive. You know, in today's world, I wish Larry was alive. You know, the loft parties, I don't go to the loft parties that much, to be honest. I haven't been to a loft party in quite some time, so I can't speak in the loft. To be honest, I haven't been there in many years, many years.
Two questions. What is
Was that?
soulful house music? What is underground dance music?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't see a difference between both music. To me, music. I wow, that's a good question. The difference between underground music. I would say underground music is something where you get a track that is very, very maybe not known to the public or not known to, let's say, a track source, and it's just in the clubs. You know, what was the question? House, underground, and
That's
which other? And
soulful house.
soulful. Yeah,
Soulful, yeah.
soulful house is more like you get one of these artists, um, like I'll say Pevin Everett. You could take a Pevin Everett, for example. You take one of his slow jams and you convert that very soulful, make it to a soulful house track. You know, that's one person I can think of. But I don't see, to be honest, I don't see a big difference between soulful and underground. You know, I don't see that. I mean, it's pretty much the same. Now,
Can you
if
share?
you get,
No, no,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say if you say if you change the category from soulful to techno and drum and bass, then that's a whole different world right there between all of that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can you share a story about a DJ gig that you had that was just like, oh my God, this is why I do this?
Yeah, sure. When I went to Paris. I went to Paris with Mateo Matos, and we went to the club. When we got there, it was so packed. They had to escort us into the DJ booth, and we got there, and I started playing, and the crowd was just going nuts. When I say going crazy, it's something I would never, ever, ever forget, man. That was the day. Wow, back in 1999. That happened back in 99. And then from there, we took off and went to another club to Belgium, Brussels, and we played there as well. And again, another packed house. Great, great party. Great experience being outside of your region outside. Now you're in the UK, experiencing different foods and everything. It's just a different crowd. It was just, man. When I tell you those people appreciate you out there and they appreciate the music that you play, yeah, that was right there. That was the point of my young career. Oh, you know. That one night at Paris, and then again in Belgium, Brussels. And one party I'll never forget. I'll never forget that day. That was the best. That was the best. Yeah,
What's the current state of house music?
the current state of house music. Um, I don't know. It's just it's to me. I think it's getting a little watered down. You know what I mean? Everybody's making tracks, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people sampling from others and doing retro tracks. I like something, with meaning behind it. You know what I mean? It's like it's good to have a track, you know, build the track, whatever, it's okay. But I prefer to have, to play vocal tracks, unless the track is something where it's just instrumental is badass. But My thing is vocals. Vocals get you going. And something about a vocal, I don't know, I feel it. I don't know if everybody else feels that in here, but vocal tracks get me out there, you know.
How do
Yeah.
you find new music? Because you talked about selection is key, right? So how do you stay current? Talk to us about your selection process.
Oh, my selection right now, I go to either a track source to find digital music. And if not that, I go around here, these neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods in Brooklyn, there's a lot of record stores, to be honest. There's like a new record store opening every other month. I see, at least it feels that way. So people are getting back into vinyl. This thing is coming back, vinyl. And I have a friend, Joe Gomez, who owns his own record, I would say record shop, but it's an internet. But he does various parties, different locations. He brings boxes of new stuff and he sells them out. It's called Range Music New York, NYC, Range Music NYC. So I purchased from him. I purchased from Downtown 304 on the website. Also Juno Records from London. Phonica Records, also located in the UK. Um, where else do I get records from? Like I said, various record shops here. A1 Records right here on 6th Street. Manhattan 45, another spot where I get records. I mean, you get records everywhere. But as far as vinyl, I go to the record shop and I go there personally and get my stuff. Unless it's on in the UK, no problem. Um, that's where I get my source, and I get a lot of a lot of new stuff on vinyl through there. As far as digital, it's always been track source for my digital music, and sometimes very rare, but sometimes Apple Music. They have a large variety of house music, Apple Music, and not too many people know that.
Interesting. I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
yeah, you see? Look at that. You see, they know that. Go to Apple Music, you'd be surprised. As a matter of fact, Black Coffee, his one of his last albums that he released is called We Want to Dance. That's one of his records called We Want to Dance. That's an Apple exclusive. You can't get that on Traxsource, Beatport, anywhere. You have to go to Apple Music to purchase it. I found out the hard way because I kept searching for it. And I'm like, where is this record at, man? And I go to Apple Music and boom, there's the entire album. Yeah. So you'd be surprised, man. Yeah.
What makes so you're on track source? A couple things. How much do you spend on records a week? And like how long do you listen to a song? Or like what makes you say I'm gonna buy that or I'm not gonna buy that? Like what's your filter?
Okay. Well, my wife is gonna kill me when she finds out how much money I spend on Traxsource. Per week, I would say
Or per
about a
month,
hundred
whatever.
per month. Wow, now you're really gonna get me in trouble. I think I should not go home. I would say about $400. Yeah, about $400. Sometimes a little less, depending what's out there, because I search on Traxsource and I just stay there for hours, searching every category, every genre. Because you'd be surprised, and you go to tech, you go to let's say you go to Tech House, and you find something in there that you say this is not Tech House. At least to you, to me, it's not considered Tech House. It's considered more hardcore house or hard house or I don't know whatever you want to call it. It's just to me, it's not techie. So I will go everywhere to every genre when it comes to track source, and I go to Soulful, I go to vocals, I go to DJ Tools. Man, I go there a lot, a lot. Yeah, yeah. Besides that, like I said, the records. I'm gonna get out my way for a second. It says right there, right behind me, Vinyl Junkie. That's what I am. I'm a true vinyl junkie. Yeah, but that's how I stay current, man.
How do you feel about the commercialization of house music?
I think it's a great thing. I think it's a good thing, man. Out there, everybody's playing it. It's getting around. Is getting big. What I would like to see house music go into, which is done before, as part of if you can get a Grammy, like Louis Vegas got a Grammy for a remix that he's done years ago. It was a house track. I forgot what record it was. It has to do with a movie. I know it has to do with a movie, but I forgot which one it was. And he's got a Grammy for that. He's got nominated for other records. So I think the house music thing is coming up. But it's gonna take a little longer to see actual artists go up on stage and receive a Grammy for a house track. I would love to see that, to be honest. That I would love to see. You know. But like I said, it's getting there. House music is big, man. It's worldwide. It's a big thing now. You know,
So
very
you
big.
have a straight job, but then you also play house music. How do you balance the two? And did you ever think of like going all in on house music?
Well, with my job, when I started working my job back in '89, I was working the midnight shift. This is why I said earlier that when I was doing the house station parties, I had to stop immediately because I was working the night shift and I was working weekends, so I wasn't able to do house nation parties anymore, and that hurt. That hurt so much. But I stopped and think and say, you know what? I'll be selfish if I go and continue to do parties, and I'm having my second child being born. I have an apartment with my wife. I said I got to take care of this. This is first priority, taking care of my kids and the wife and the bills, than having to play music. So I sacrificed 30 years, man. 30 years of not playing music anywhere. I would play music from time to time, and then if I was invited, but it was very rare. So, and sometimes I couldn't do it because I just couldn't take off. You can't be taking off from work and to do a party, and then they go find out, hey, you didn't come in for that. I didn't want to risk my job. My family meant a lot to me. And still does. But once that was done, that's it, man. I broke free like a jailbird, man. I just well, I'm everywhere right now, man. I'm available right now, man. If anybody wants me, I'm available.
If people want to book you, how can they get in contact with you?
You can hit me up on
Like,
Ace
what's your
House.
email or what you? Yeah, tell me email.
I can give my email. It's ACEPENA@hotmail.com. Ace Pena at hotmail.com. Or you can basically hit me up on Facebook Messenger, Ace House Nation, and book me if you like. You could also listen to my shows every Saturdays between 6 and because I can go on for many hours on Twitch. And to find me on Twitch is Ace House Nation, all one word, Ace House Nation 65. And you can find me on Twitch and follow me there.
Tell us about the cookie jar. What's the cookie jar?
The cookie jar right here. This is the cookie jar. The cookie. It's funny because the cookie jar came about when I went to visit my dear friend Curly. If you know Curly, DJ that girl. I
Mhm.
went to visit her one morning. I came out of work and I'm having this cookie with me, and it was a what was that cookie? Got oatmeal. It was an oatmeal cookie, freshly baked. And I said I'm gonna save it so when I get to our house, I'll have it with a cup of coffee. So finally, I get to our house. I sit down. I fall asleep. I was out. I wake up. And I say, "Oh, can I have a cup of coffee? And I want to eat my cookie." And I wake up, the cookie was gone. She goes, "I thought the cookie was for me." I said, "What? You had my cookie? Shit! I just had a dream. I just had a dream that I was gonna eat my cookie." And then it dawned on me. I'm in her house and I'm looking around and I'm going, "Cookie, cookie. Huh? Wait a minute. Why don't I just call my show? Because it was called BPM, beats per minute. That was my first show. And then I say, you know what? Why don't I just call my show the Cookie Jar, meaning that my room is the actual jar, and then my records are my cookies. So I explained that to Curly. So what was that? She started breaking laughing. She's crying from laughing. But she said, that's a great day. That's a great name. That's a great name. And at that time, we were playing on pre-party radio. It was one of the best internet radio shows back then. It was number one. And that's it. From that point, everybody started calling me the Cookie Monster. Yep. Everyone will go up there. You know how many people gave me Cookie Monster or little puppets or whatever you call them, stuffed animals? A lot. T-shirts, hats. Oh, forget it. It was crazy. It was crazy. I got overwhelmed here on my shelf, but I got rid of all that, gave them to my grandkids. But this is the cookie jar right here. This is where that name came about, the cookie jar. That one cookie that got eaten.
What advice would you give to the next generation?
My advice to the next generation. Well, go out there and do your thing, man. Keep it real. You know what? Keep it real. What I mean by that, if you want to become a DJ, I want you to keep it real. I want you to, just do your thing. Blend your music if you wish to, blend it and blend it yourself. That's it, man. And go out there and have a great time. Don't take this too serious. You know what I mean? Have a good time. Enjoy the music.
Thank you. This was a great interview.
Oh man, thank you for having me. I appreciate that, man. This means a lot, man. You know,
Awesome.
I hope I was able to answer every question. You
No, it
know,
was fantastic. It was fantastic. I love the stories, the loft, everything was great. So thank you so much.
yeah, you're very welcome, man. Again, thank you for having me.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.